Okay, good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to be looking at the topic of business systems and the IPO cycle. But I think it's quite easy. We just need to understand basically the whole idea or the whole concept of a business system. Now, as we discussed before, we mentioned that a system is just a combination of related components that work together to accomplish a common goal. See, each part of the system is very important and it must be considered as such. So when we talk about systems, systems are everywhere, all around us. We have ecosystems, we have production systems, we have management information systems, we have computer systems. I think the easiest way to understand how systems operate is by looking, for example, at how your own body operates. No single part of your body can be considered to be better than the other part. As is with systems, no single component of a system can be thought of as being more important than any other component. All components are equally important and contribute to the deliverable, the end goal. So in order for a system to function properly, we need to take a holistic approach to understanding systems. What this simply implies is we need to understand that each part is equally important in the role or in the purpose that it serves within the system. So the same can be applied to businesses. We cannot consider a business system as having parts that are more important than other parts. Each part, no matter how small it is, has a significant or a vital role to play in ensuring that the business system is capable of achieving its goals and its objectives. So the aspect of a holistic approach is important in our understanding of systems as well as in systems thinking. Okay, so when a system exists within another system, it is referred to as a subsystem. For example, if you look at the derailleur component of a bicycle, the back part that manages how the gears change, basically that's a subsystem on its own. As with systems, subsystems also have inputs, processes, and outputs. But because they are part of a larger whole, a subsystem's deliverables should contribute to the deliverables of the main system. So a derailleur subsystem on a bicycle just allows the cyclist to change gears. That is the component that we are referring to as a subsystem. It is the subsystem of the whole and contributes to the greater system, which is the bicycle itself. We could also talk about the braking subsystem components of a bicycle, which serve the purpose of making sure that the bicycle is able to stop. There are two main types of systems that we want to try and understand with regards to systems. The first one is an open system. Now, any system that is allowed to interact with external entities of its environment is referred to as an open system. Most of the systems that you probably know are in this category of open systems. An open system basically interacts with its surroundings, with its environment. This allows it to basically achieve its core objectives and goals. So if we look at a business system, it cannot operate in isolation. What this simply means is you cannot have a business that does not interact with customers at one point, or that does not interact with people like suppliers. It has to interact with external entities. Business systems, again, need to be conscious of what is going on economically, on a political level, as well as even in terms of legal aspects and socio-cultural aspects. This just goes to reinforce the aspect or the fact that a business system, which is an open system, cannot exist in a vacuum or in isolation. Otherwise, this would result in the system not achieving its objective. The other type of a system is known as a closed system. Normally, these are common in science, where there's experimentation being conducted. When a system doesn't interact with external entities or its environment, then it is referred to as a closed system. These are very uncommon in our day-to-day lives, and we are going to focus mainly on open systems. So what is a business system? Now that we understand basically what a system is, simple. A business system is designed to connect all of an organization's intricate parts and interrelated steps to work together for the achievement of the business strategy. Creating effective business system often unifies the problem solving and decision making of the organization. So with effective business systems, this enables businesses to better solve problems and to make better decisions. Business systems always have subsystems within them that are contrived, meaning these are actually man-made systems. So from the initial definition, we can see that a system is designed to connect all of the organization's intricate parts. This just relates to the different components of the organization and the interrelated steps to work together for the achievement of a business strategy. When you want to understand a business system, it is very important that initially you understand the objective of the business. It is based on this objective that you can now determine the inputs, the processes, and the outputs that will allow you to achieve or to realize the business goals and the business objectives. So, what are the benefits of understanding and implementing systems? Well, when we create systems in a structured way, this enables improved efficiency and effectiveness. This allows people to perform their tasks in a more efficient and effective way, meaning there should be reduced wastage of resources and there should be increased quality of the deliverables that are being produced. Business systems also enable transparency and better communication. Because of the nature of systems and the structure, it becomes easy to understand and to communicate certain information if a system is put in place. Failure to do so normally results in challenges regarding communication, the flow of information, which would then have negative implications on the decision-making process. So again, business systems created in a structured way enable faster and more accurate decision-making, as well as better controlling and feedback efforts, as well as the better use of resources and process optimization. Now, with business systems, process optimization is it's a big aspect. This just has to do with identifying the processes that are currently running or the processes that are currently a part of your business system, and then trying to improve those processes. So, for example, customer checkout is a process, and depending on the type of business we are looking at, this process can be managed in different ways. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that that process is functioning in such a way that it does not inconvenience the customer and that it produces the best result for the organization. So as an individual, I would quickly want you to try and answer this question for me. What is the difference between a closed system and an open system. And I'd also want you to discuss whether business systems are closed or open in nature, and you have to support your answer. Okay, moving on to the IPO cycle. The IPO cycle is very popular in business systems as well as in computer science. The IPO cycle basically stands for input, processes, and outputs. Inputs are the resources that are invested in accomplishing a task and typically include things like time, money, and effort. So whenever you want to establish your own business, you need to understand and know what resources you are going to require in order for you to accomplish your business objective. In order for you to realize your goal, you'd obviously need some resources. Those can be in the form of time, those can be in the form of money, those can be in the form of skills, those can be in the form of human resources. It just depends on the type of business we are looking at. Processes refer to what is done in order to accomplish a task. So once you have your inputs, you need to transform some of these inputs. Processing or processes represent transformational activities. When we talk about transformational activities, we're talking about converting your input, which is in one state, into your output, which should be the deliverable. So again, processes are linked with process optimization, and this is one of those components or parts basically that allow businesses to improve, to become more effective, to become more efficient. Once you understand your business processes, you can start taking a closer look, a closer analysis of how you can improve them, and in so doing, you are likely to achieve better deliverables or better outputs. The output is basically the accomplishment or the deliverable that you are going to acquire once you are done with your processing. So for example, just a simple receipt, which is a proof of a transaction, can be considered to be the output from a retail or a point of sale system. Deliverables are basically what the system exists to produce and what brings it closer to achieving the system goals and objectives. Okay, so here we have a diagram basically depicting inputs, processes, and outputs. On the left side of the diagram, we can identify information, materials, and people being considered to be the inputs of this business system. Inputs basically should answer the question of what we need it to do. So for example, in your business organization, if you're going to be establishing a learning institution, you would want to identify what goes into that learning institution before you can actually get your outputs. You need to understand what are some of the processes that are going to be taking place and what you are expecting to produce as the deliverables or as the outputs. So our inputs basically create an entry point into which we can start working with processes or activities or tasks or steps. These are transformational in the sense that they convert your inputs into some form of a result, deliverable, products, information, or people with different skills or different services. So the outputs, as we mentioned before, have to do with what we want to produce or what we want to deliver. When we look at processes, normally they are guided by organizational policies, standards, regulations, and in some cases, depending on the type of business, laws as well as knowledge and triggering events. The processes should answer questions regarding why, when, and how we do what we do. Okay, in the next example, we have our IPO cycle, but this diagram is a bit different from the previous diagram, as it actually links inputs, transformational systems, which are the processes, to outputs. This is affected by, in this example, everything is being actually affected by the environment. Remember, we say business systems are open in nature, meaning there's some form of interaction between the business and external entities. In this example, the external entities consist of people like customers, suppliers, the economy, things like technology, things like competitors, as well as any regulation that has been put in place. So we have our inputs that exist in the form of capital, materials, equipment, facilities, labor, suppliers, knowledge, and time. And then those are used in the transformational process, where we have some form of alteration. We might have some form of movement, some form of storage, and some form of inspection taking place. And then the deliverable or the output is basically the services that are being rendered, which are facilitating the transportation of goods. So by just looking at this example, you can already tell that we're dealing with what looks like a transportation system for delivering items. Okay, back to business process. So business process or business method is just a collection of related structured activities or tasks by people or equipment in which a specific sequence produces a service or product for a particular customer or customers. A business process or business method is a collection of related structured activities or tasks by people or equipment in which a specific sequence produces a service or product for a particular customer or customers. What this simply means, again, is that every business process will normally consist of either human resources as well as equipment working together as a transformational activity, so as to create some form of a product or some form of a service that should eventually meet the needs of customers. Business processes are transformational activities which use inputs and change them into some form of output or deliverables. It is this deliverable that the system exists to produce. System deliverables allow the system to accomplish its goals and objectives. Okay, again, we have another diagram showing an information system, basically, and how it allows suppliers, regulatory agencies to be involved as inputs. And then we have processing taking place, which also involves classification, arranging, and calculating of information. And then we have some form of output being produced. Information systems are a very popular topic these days in almost all business organizations, as they relate to how a business can actually use its information, channel its information in the right direction to ensure that we have proper decision making, to ensure that the right people get the right information at the right time. And then this should enhance their decision-making capability, their task execution capability. So examples of business systems include management information systems, which allow the movement of management information to ensure that managers are well informed with timely, accurate information that can help support in the process of their decision making. We also have production systems that are used in the production process. We also have banking systems, retail systems, customer relationship, and management systems, also known as CRMs. Okay, this brings us to the end of the lesson. If you have any questions, please make sure you share them on the chat that I provided on the Moodle. And also please ensure that you complete the activity before the end of the day. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow again. Thank you.